Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money Channel. So XRP on the daily, guys. We got XRP trading right now at about 19 cents, just below 19 cents, 0.189. So hovering still within this range before we popped back in early 2020. That happening obviously before the inevitable market crash, and now we're kind of back in that zone. When we look at BTC, we're still trading in that zone as well. So we're kind of up to where we began. Erasing early 2020's gains. Nevertheless, it's better to be there, at least if you're not looking to purchase, rather than down below that mark. So the S&P 500 here, struggling a little bit. In early 2020, the S&P 500 was all the way up here. So the traditional stock markets have actually corrected much more than cryptocurrency if you look at where they were at the beginning of 2020 versus today. This is the S&P 500, and we can look at the Dow Jones Industrial Average. So again, early 2020 was around here. If you go back to XRP, early 2020 was around here. So we are back to where we were if you want to look at it in that respect. How many of you guys bought XRP or Bitcoin or anything really after we saw this dip, after thinking, stock market's crashing, crypto's also crashing, now's the time to buy? I'm kind of curious because apparently, yes, Americans buying Bitcoin with stimulus checks, that actually happened. So I got to thank XRP Ferguson for sending me that at TFergTrades on Twitter. Guys, give him a follow if you haven't followed him already. And so he posted this article here. Yes, Americans buying Bitcoin with stimulus checks. Data is already pointing to this. So according to data provided by Brian Armstrong, the CEO of America's #1 exchange, Coinbase, the number of $1,200 deposits more than quadrupled this week. At their peak, they constituted 0.4% of all inflows. And guys, you can see that chart here. This from Brian Armstrong. So Americans getting their stimulus checks and putting them right into crypto. Exactly what we had hypothesized a couple of days ago when I was going over Rob Art's tweet with regards to, if you're able to use your stimulus check and put it into crypto, we could realistically see crypto moon, and we're seeing a little microcosm of that here. Considering this upsurge conveniently coincided with U.S. taxpayers receiving their stimulus checks, it's not hard to piece two and two together and figure out where this money was coming from. So very, very interesting that we are seeing, not mooning, but we are seeing a bit of a microcosm. And so, I'm sure a lot of people are thinking to themselves, I've got this money that the government's sending me, gonna invest it because I don't need it to pay my bills. I don't know if that is morally acceptable-ish. But I guess if the government is giving you the money and you are able to pay your bills in another way, maybe it's good for the economy. Maybe if you are able to make yourself richer through this process, you will be able to spend more out the other end. So thanks to TFergTrades there on Twitter for posting that. I also saw this, guys, from Matthew Liny on Twitter. And guys, if you're not following him, I don't know why you aren't. Matt's always got some great tweets. So Wyoming passes law to allow insurance companies to invest in Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. So they've amended their insurance code to allow domestic insurance companies to invest in digital assets such as Bitcoin. The amendment was passed last month and comes into effect on July 1st, according to the information from Wyoming State Legislature, the legislative branch of the state. The new law states that the insurer may invest in digital assets as defined by and then it gives the section there. Wyoming law defines digital assets as a representation of economic, proprietary, or access rights that is stored in a computer readable format and includes digital consumer assets, digital securities, and virtual currency. And so this possibly because insurance companies are finding that they are paying out more due to illness, perhaps, as one example that we're seeing right now. And so, Wyoming deciding to do this on the state level, you got to think to yourself, when everything's fine and good, insurance companies have it pretty well, right? You're paying in and they barely pay out. Depending on what's going on, if you get into a car accident, of course, that is one of those times where insurance companies will pay out. But how often does that realistically happen? If your home floods, for example, your house insurance will cover that. But again, how often does that really happen? But in a case of a pandemic where there are people getting sick left, right, and center, I don't know how much the government's going to cover, but of course insurance companies are going to feel the heat on that. So giving them another option to invest to hopefully leverage their cash and grow it so that they can have more money to pay out under certain circumstances. So I thought that was very, very interesting. This also from Matthew Liny on Twitter. And this has to do with Ripple partner Santander. So forcing the competition to use XRP, seed investors will be using this strategy in high volume corridors. So this Santander takes on TransferWise with UK launch of Pago FX. Banco Santander has launched a cross-border payments app, Pago FX, in the UK, taking on the might of rival fintech unicorn TransferWise. I don't know why they're always calling them unicorns in these articles these days. I'm finding that more and more. Launched as a standalone company, Pago FX allows UK residents with a debit credit card issued by any UK bank or financial institution to send money abroad using just their smartphone. International payments can currently be made in selected currencies from the UK to the US, the Eurozone, Poland, Switzerland, Norway, Denmark, Sweden, and the Czech Republic, with plans to introduce further currencies and payment options in the short term, providing a direct threat to fintech unicorn TransferWise. In light of the ongoing beer flu pandemic, Pago FX will allow customers to use the service to transfer money abroad without any fees at all for the next 2 months, up to a limit of £3,000. Thereafter, it will charge a fee of between 0.7% and 0.8% of the value of each transaction. Now, I was under the impression that TransferWise was a Ripple partner. After doing a quick Google search, I'm realizing that Ripple or no Ripple, TransferWise joins Visa's real-time payment solutions. That back from December 2019. CoinSpeaker TransferWise undermines the potential advantage. Sorry guys, I'm doing a bit of research now because I thought they were a Ripple partner, but I guess they're not. Major money transfer service TransferWise has indicated that in spite of excitement over the growth of Ripple's global payment solution, it has not seen a compelling case for using blockchain technology to carry out its business. This is an older article from 2018. Okay, so maybe they're not, and that was my mistake. So Pago FX, obviously, then in competition with TransferWise. And so how will this end, especially during this time of uncertainty when more people are likely transferring money across borders to send to loved ones? In a time where people have lost their jobs and aren't really able to pay those transfer fees. They want to keep them as low. Well, I mean, people want to keep transfer fees and service fees as low as possible anyway, but especially if you're not working. To be able to transfer money efficiently with Ripple technology, DLT, is going to give any company using RippleNet a leg up, especially if they have that margin to cut their transfer fees, right? If it's only costing them pennies or less than a penny to send a transfer, and they're charging even $2, they can tell their customers, look, come to us until the pandemic's over. We will charge you nothing, and you can transfer freely for this amount of time during this pandemic. And that'll give a lot of the companies already using RippleNet a leg up to garner more business. And, those friends will tell another friend. Of course, word of mouth spreads quickly, kind of like the beer flu. But you get my point, guys. So great news coming out of the UK with Pago FX. And guys, did you hear about Libra and how they just made a bunch of changes to play more nicely with regulators? A lot of people are calling this a watered down version of Libra. Let me read you guys this. After a rocky road with the United States Security and Exchange Commission, key decision makers at Libra have gone back to the drawing board to retool their cryptocurrency platform to be more palatable to regulators. First off, Libra has applied for a payment system license from Swiss regulator FINMA. This is a huge milestone on the way to some publicly usable Libra payment system, but there is still work to be done. Libra's licensing process will continue to require input from other central banks and financial regulatory authorities, of course. So there are a number of underlying technical changes taking place. First, Libra's multi-currency stablecoin LBR will be backed by new stablecoins instead of by fiat currencies living in a bank account somewhere. Libra co-creator David Marcus tweeted that the most notable evolutions are the creation of single currency stablecoins like USD, the Euro, and GBP, in addition to the Libra coin. The updated design is made possible by a smart contract that ties together the fixed nominal weights of underlying stablecoins. There is another major update with regards to the white paper. I won't get into that, but ultimately the verdict is that, this is going to just be another coin that exists. This is how a lot of people are feeling about this at the moment. This isn't going to be groundbreaking, I don't think, at least, unless the Libra project can leverage, which I'm sure they will, leverage the Facebook platform in some way, shape, or form to heighten their exposure. Of course, that could change people's perception of cryptocurrencies. I don't know, though, if people are necessarily going to trust this. That's kind of that underlying factor. People still trust Facebook with their images and their videos and their posts about their puppies or whatever, but are people going to trust Facebook with their money? This is the big question. There was already an uproar several years ago now when Facebook started advertising. This was several years ago now, lots of years ago now. And when companies make fundamental changes like this, it does tend to take time to warm up to them. I don't know, would you guys ever use Libra? Okay, I know you guys are XRP people mostly, but given the opportunity, if there was something that you needed to purchase from somebody remotely and you had them as friends on Facebook and there was a Libra cryptocurrency integrated within Facebook and it was a way to exchange value to somebody who you've never met before, who's maybe lives in Africa or wherever, would you use it? Would you trust Facebook enough to use it as a means to transfer value in this particular circumstance? I'm asking you guys out there, put it in the comments. I'm seriously curious to see where people's trust in Facebook is at this point in time. Guys, Ripple partner SBI Holdings begins use of R3 blockchain for FX trading, so this is great. We know SBI, a loyal partner in Ripple, has begun using R3 blockchain technology for foreign exchange margin FX trading. According to a report, this marked the first practical core to blockchain application in the country. However, this has been restricted to within the company for now, and it is being used to share transaction history amongst traders and confirm order contents. This step has been taken to prevent human errors. Corda will initially be put to use between SBI Securities and SBI Liquidity Markets, and depending on the results, its operation could be or will be expanded to outside of the SBI group of companies. The company's objective is to increase the number of orders for currency heading to solidify its revenue base and reduce transaction costs. This is where XRP thrives, reducing transaction costs. Not only that, settling instantly. So the company says, we have reduced the operational risk in the confirmation business and ensured high privacy protection and tamper resistance. In addition, the blockchain guarantees the identity of transaction data between the parties and improves the reliability of collation work. Furthermore, the real-time transmission of information enables seamless data linkage to back office work. So XRP, great for so many things. R3 settles in XRP, or has the ability to, and Ripple and SBI Holdings, obviously, huge proponents of XRP. SBI now utilizing R3 blockchain tech in order to settle those FX trades. Great news there. And great news coming out of the Ripple camp as well. Ripple and its co-founder, Chris Larsen, are donating $5 million. $1 million each to 5 food banks and meal providers that are supporting families and individuals in the Bay Area. So as you guys know, Chris Larsen did have the beer flu and he is recovering quite nicely. Getting a blood transfusion here with his nifty t-shirt, wearing a N95 mask, and I'm sure because of his harrowing experience, Chris Larsen has decided to donate $5 million. Here are the food banks here: the Alma County Community Food Bank, Loaves and Fishes, Family Kitchen, Samaritan House, San Francisco Marin Food Bank, Second Harvest of Silicon Valley. I don't know any of those because I'm not from the area. Maybe some of you guys recognize some of those. But many industry leaders are stepping in, including Google. They announced they will donate $1 million to Bay Area families and another $1 million directly from CEO Sundar Pichai. Apple committed $15 million and will match employee contributions at a 2-to-1 ratio. Grassroots efforts are sprouting up everywhere. So Silicon Valley, obviously, taking the time to give back, and this is a great time. My only concern here is that, you know, the Bay Area, sure, they need help, but there are so many communities across the United States of America that need help. And I think that's just because Silicon Valley is concentrated, there's so much wealth concentrated in that area, that money should really be spread out further across the country, especially in New York. As we know, New York has been really hit hard by the beer flu. And so, you know, there's a lot of money to go around. There's a lot of philanthropists in the United States who could, you know, do good by donating, spreading the wealth out. But I got to congratulate Chris Larsen, of course, for doing his part. We also got Matthew Liny on Twitter. DLT projects are alive and well during this economic shutdown. With so many projects, interoperability will be key. And this, guys, Just giving you a sense of what's going on in this space despite the beer flu. So this table provides a summary of announced distributed ledger initiatives and their choices over distributed ledger technology in the financial industry. Also included is relevant initiatives in slightly different areas and regulatory initiatives. The initiatives are placed in chronological order. The first date of the article initiative was proposed as used for the chronological placing, i.e. not the date of the updates. In the implemented column, no signifies intentions, plans to do something. Yes is placed for pilots up and running implementation DLT projects. In addition, in that column, we highlighted between whether the initiative is proof of concept or for commercial, so just giving us an idea. And guys, I will link this tweet in the description of the video as I do all my articles, because I know some of you guys get interested in reading further. I tend to just kind of highlight the key points and move along, give you a little bit of my 2 cents along the way. But here we go. Several DLT projects, and this just March and April 2019. And you know, guys, the list just goes on and on. We got the Thai Stock Exchange, Stuttgart Stock Exchange, Kleinwort, Hombros, Northern Trust, Legal Contracting and Private Equity Blockchain, Baton Systems, and he keeps linking, because there are so many here, he keeps linking different tables here with regards to this one, MasterCard, Lattice Bank, Baden, Württemberg's loan, and that's in Germany. So guys, a lot of blockchain development still occurring. And I guess what Matt's point is that because there are going to be so many blockchains with regards to finance, as stated here, distributed ledger technology in the financial industry, it is obviously very important to acknowledge that interoperability will be key in the future. And we know XRP and RippleNet interoperable with many other different systems that are created, interoperable when it comes to exchanges, money transfers, and this is why it was created. The interoperability will be its ace in the hole, I think, or at least one of its aces in the hole. It's got so many benefits, but interoperability obviously will help propel XRP into being that cryptocurrency used for mass adoption. And despite all that, guys, did you know that 63% of the Ripple XRP community has gone for good? Gone for good. How can you say that with 100% certainty? So this article here, okay, I'm gonna talk about it, but you know, take it with a grain of salt, folks. It's essentially discussing the cryptocurrency community and how Ripple has lost over 63% of its active community, according to data collected from Telegram chat groups by a anonymous crypto trader. So this is Aztec BTC, and they're explaining, so this community capitulation, Whale Club went private, so it's the most accurate numbers for existing members after 2017 bull run. And the member loss is from June 2018 till about April 2020. Coincidentally enough, June 2018 is when I started my channel. Nevertheless, let's look at some of these numbers. So Decred lost 26.13% of their members. Stellar Lumens 33.48, Ethereum Classic 38.44. Whale Pool, I'm just gonna name out a few real quick. Whale Pool 48% down. Status Platform 48% down. Monero 50% down. EOS 57. Neo Blockchain 55. We got Ripple down here and minus 63, but also Trollbox is down 67%, Litecoin down 67%, and Litecoin's a big name. The Coin Farm also down quite a bit. Yet this article decides to discuss Ripple and XRP particularly, clearly singling them out. Clearly Decrypt, in my opinion, probably has a bit of a modus operandi here and wants to spread FUD, despite the fact that, guys, it was a bull run and then we were in a bear market for so long, and a lot of these other cryptocurrencies also lost members. Sure, XRP lost 63%, but it doesn't matter. The number doesn't really matter. I think the trend speaks louder than the numbers, than the specific numbers. Like, well, you lost 63% and there was another one that only lost 53%. So that coin theoretically is better because it lost less. No, that doesn't mean that at all. These are garbage statistics. In my opinion, when you're looking at that specific little thing there, and that's gonna, and I'm gonna write an article about why Ripple is not as good as maybe. This is trash, guys. This is FUD. Do not believe it. I usually like Decrypt too, but yeah, don't fall for this kind of stuff. Next point here, going to talk about one of our favorite people in the XRP community, none other than Crypto Eddie. Today, RippleNet partner SBI hits all-time high of 900 billion yen. That's equivalent to 8.3 billion US dollars in cumulative remittances, a 100 billion JPY increase in 3 months. We are providing a remittance service that utilizes the distributed ledger technology, DLT, guys. This coming from RippleNet partner, SBI. Crypto Eddie clearly has probably reported on this. Here is the website here, and of course we will translate that into English. So the cumulative remittances of SBI international remittances exceeded 900 billion yen, an amazing milestone for SBI. Just going to read you a little bit of this down here. Since the revised Immigration Control Act enforced on April 1st, 2019, is expected to further increase the number of foreign nationals residing in Japan, so that could be a reason, the government has announced comprehensive countermeasures for accepting and coexisting with foreign human resources. I listed financial services as one of the fields that foreigners need to support in order to live in peace. In response to this, in order to provide a more convenient service to foreign residents, we are providing a remittance service that utilizes the DLT, distributed ledger technology, which features depositing speed and inexpensive fees. So obviously, as we know, SBI, a RippleNet partner, and they are highlighting their depositing speed and inexpensive fees. We are promoting various initiatives such as provision and strengthening of multilingual websites, an expansion to 12 languages. In addition, in rural areas where there is a need for remittances with the increase of the number of foreign workers, there are a number of local financial institutions that are deciding to reduce or withdraw foreign exchange business services for individual customers, including foreign remittances, in order to provide a safe and convenient environment for foreign workers to transfer money. We are actively promoting business alliance with local financial institutions. So great news coming out of Japan, and these guys doing it right since the beginning. Cryptocurrency regulatory clarity is clearer in Asia, some Asian countries at least. So, it's working well in that part of the world, it seems. I don't know, I don't live there, but I'm sure Crypto Eddie could speak to the fact that that is likely a true statement. All this stuff takes time, guys, and we're moving closer and closer by the day. Now, I think I know why you're all here. Is 2020 supposed to be the year for mass adoption? While I was perusing crypto Twitter, I happened to come across this from XRP_Gonzo on Twitter. That's at GonzoXRP, and he calls on David Schwartz. Hey, at Joel Katz, does this still hold true? And so he retweets this from March 31st, 2018. This guy named Dave Rohrig. He writes, I have a good friend who is writing the programs for ICA, the big banks, Zillow, and EXT. As I was telling about the new software he was writing, I showed him Ripple. Both Ripple and his new product were almost identical. The bank's new stuff won't be released until 2021. Now, guys, remember, this tweet was from March 2018. David Schwartz responds to this, says that's too late to do us any good. Our XRP strategy can't wait that long. So, guys, a few things to note here, okay? This tweet from back in 2018. Dave Rohrig's friend was creating bank software that seemed to be similar to Ripple in nature, and he seemed to be creating that for some banking institution, the big banks, he puts in brackets, and that it won't be released until 2021. And by David Schwartz mentioning that our XRP strategy can't wait that long, can only mean one thing, or a couple of things perhaps, that XRP was due to be rolled out before 2021. Okay, that's simple math, simple enough. Well, right now it's the year 2020, but a lot of things have happened in the meantime. Let's not forget Brad Garlinghouse mentioning at the end of December 2018, so about 9 months after this tweet was originally posted, that he thought Ripple would have been further along at that point in time. So a lot had happened in 2018 that had kind of set them back. So maybe David Schwartz's timeline here was insinuating that things would happen by or before 2021, probably by 2021 the latest. But now Brad Garlinghouse in December 2018, or rather then, in December 2018, Brad Garlinghouse said things were pushed. Probably, we're assuming with cryptocurrency regulation, maybe a few other kinks in the chain. And so we haven't seen cryptocurrency or XRP mass adoption yet. Also, let's not forget that 2020 is a very unusual year and has been so far because of this pandemic. So again, will this be pushed even further? Or because of the pandemic, will it be escalated to an emergency matter that needs to happen now. Will the US government decide to push ahead despite the backlog? It looks as though, according to David Schwartz, we were supposed to be on track, at least as of 2018, we were supposed to be on track before 2021 to have cryptocurrency and XRP mass adoption be rolled out to some of the major banks. It looks as though that's what he's discussing here, to some of the major banks in the United States and likely worldwide. It could just be that all David Schwartz was talking about was making sure that Ripple signed contracts with the big banks so that they had locked them in to use XRP once that cryptocurrency regulation has come to pass. So this is a very cryptic Twitter thread. We're reading a little bit into it, although it seems to me that as of April 2018, the XRP strategy was supposed to be on track by or before 2021. So many things have changed since then. Will this still hold true? Will the pandemic actually accelerate cryptocurrency adoption after we've been pushed a few steps back? I want to hear what you guys think. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.